Would you like to pledge? All righty, here we go. Call to order. Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, June 6, 2023. This is a regular meeting of the Cabell County Board of Education. The first on the agenda is the Pledge to the Allegiance. Would you please stand? And Mrs. Neely, would you lead us, please?
Yes, I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll begin with special celebrations. Jed Flowers.
Good evening, Madam President, Vice President, board members, Superintendent Sachs, and Councilor Myers. Very excited to have all of our folks with us tonight to celebrate some of our outstanding students. Even though it's summertime, that doesn't mean our kids have slowed down. The Junior Gold Bowling Champions is an annual national tournament for the top male and female youth bowlers in the United States. This year's event will take place in Indianapolis, Indiana in mid-July. Strike Zone Bowling Center had 3 youth bowlers qualify, and a few students will please come forward. Allie Miles, Alexis Turner, and Christian Carpenter. These youth bowlers have been earning scholarship funds for several years that will help pay for their college expenses. Allie Miles is a recent Cabell Midland High School graduate. She qualified to compete in the Junior Gold by winning first place in the West Virginia Pepsi Youth Tournament in March. This is Allie's 4th time to qualify for Junior Gold. In the fall, she will be bowling for the University of Pikeville on an athletic and academic scholarship. Alexis Turner qualified to compete in Junior Gold by being the top under 15 qualifier at the JTBA Ohio Valley Bank Youth Open in Gallipolis, Ohio. This is her 2nd year qualifying for Junior Gold. She will be a sophomore next year at Cabell Midland High School. And Christian Carpenter qualified as the top under 12 qualifier at the JTBA Ohio Valley Bank Youth Open in Gallipolis, Ohio. This is his 2nd time qualifying. Christian is a rising 6th grader who will be attending Huntington East Middle School. I believe we have some special guests with us tonight. We have Kevin Malone, the coach of the team. He's going to come forward and introduce our guests.
Hello, I'm Kevin Malone, coach at Strike Zone for the youth for approximately 9 or 10 years. And it's been a pleasure working with these kids. Allie's moving on after this one. You heard she's going to college. Alexis and Christian still be around for a while yet. And they worked hard to get to this level. We've went to the Junior Gold. Our center has sent kids to the Junior Gold for, I think, since 2018, and this is probably our strongest group that we've sent. So we have high hopes for good results this year.
They're going to be quiet. Christian? Step up and take one for the team.
Okay, fine.
There you go.
Okay. So, as growing up, I've done bowling for a while. But the game of bowling's special. I mean, you could be bowling a 105 or something your first game. Bad line, whatever you want to call it. But then the next game, you decide to change something up, and next thing you know, you're bowling 200s, and you're over here cheering like you just won the lottery. So it's kind of, you got a good feeling when you're doing good, especially after doing something bad. So.
Congratulations. He's a good spokesperson for the bowling league. That's very good. All right, our next recognition is very exciting, our Cabell County Schools Administrative Apprenticeship Completers. And to do this presentation, we have our special guest, Mr. Justin Boggs and Miss Kristen Giles.
Or Heather Starberry. It is okay. I am not Kristen Giles, but good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Sachs, and Ms. Hornbuckle. We would like to take the opportunity this evening to present certificates to the individuals who participated in the administrative apprenticeship class. They attended weekly sessions online about the operations and instructional pieces to our district, as well as completing 3 10-hour sessions in Radford on positive behavior supports, understanding those terms, and implementing that program. So we would like to take the opportunity to recognize these individuals. Jacob Sacre. Justina White. Brenda Stoke. Jesse Scott. Amber Perry. I got it. Felicia Backus. Carissa Hayes. Stephanie Sacre. Alexandria Pennell. Tabitha Payne. Olivia Fisher. Kaylee Jo Jones. Hillary Gibson. And Danny Harbert. Just from the executive directors, we would like to thank these individuals for their dedication and the professional development that they attended. Thank you.
Could you remind the board just how long the
So it
administrative
is
apprenticeship-
it is 2 semesters long, and in addition, the other day when we presented, they did also do 2 book studies as well. So it was 30 hours of online professional development, weekly attending sessions, as well as 2 books for a book study. And job shadowing.
That's a lot of work.
Was that the books we read?
Excellent. Yeah.
Are those
Congratulations.
the 2 I read? Okay, oh, I already gave it back. I like the other one better. That one wasn't bad, because I shipped some monkeys in my house over reading. I think I was holding on to monkeys that were not mine. I gave them back. Did you think it? I was like, you can have that.
finished? We're finished.
We just have an update from the Huntington Museum of Art.
Oh, is Jed going to introduce that? Or
I can't.
I can do it for you.
oh, I'm sorry. It's right there in front of me. All right. Okay, I see it. Next, we have an education activities update from Cindy Dearborn from the Huntington Museum of Art. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Sachs, members of the Cabell County Board of Education.
Is that
you. Oh,
microphone?
sorry. Thank you for letting me have a few moments to speak about the partnership between Cabell County Schools and the Huntington Museum of Art. I'm Cindy Dearborn, Director of Education for the Huntington Museum of Art. With me today are a few members of the museum's Board of Trustees, Susan Shields and Francis Case. And I just wanted to do a quick presentation for you regarding some of the activities that we do along with Cabell County Schools. Each year, we work with the art teachers to provide professional development opportunities. This past January, elementary art teachers joined us in our clay studio to create hand-built textured boxes. This summer, we have plans to work with the middle school art teachers for a day at the museum. Every year, we so enjoy this activity and love getting together with the teachers from Cabell County Schools. Kidlit. Kidlit is our first grade visual and reading language arts tour. It finished its season this spring with visits from all 18 Cabell County elementary schools and the Cabell Virtual Academy. This year, nearly 900 teachers, students, and chaperones participated in the Kidlit tour, and our docents, or tour guides, volunteered for 185 hours to conduct the tours. Kidlit is a very interactive, hands-on experience for first grade students, most of whom this is their first experience with the museum. Each student makes a book about the elements of art and their visit to the museum. They receive a kit full of supplies to use at each gallery stop to help them complete their book. At the end of the visit, they take their book home and are able to share it with their families. During the months of September and October, over 700 third graders visited the museum for the Added Up tour. Added Up combines math and art through a series of gallery activities while students visit the Glass and Decorative Arts Gallery, the Tuma Near Eastern Gallery, the C. Fred Edwards Conservatory, and the Education Gallery. The students are engaged in bar graphing, measuring, estimating, creating patterns and tessellations while viewing the art and the plants in the galleries. Our docents volunteered for 133 hours to take the students through the tour. Look, Listen, and Move is the fourth grade arts integrated tour that brings together art, music, and dance. We partner with Marshall University professor Steve Hall for the music and Fourth Avenue Arts for the dancing. This is the first time since the pandemic that we have conducted this tour in person, and it was wonderful. Our volunteer docents were so happy to be leading this tour once again. More than 700 students participated in the program this year, dancing, singing, and exploring the galleries. The Arts Integrated program has been taking place at the museum for students in Cabell County since the 1970s. HMA's Education Department enjoyed hosting the Huntington High School students for the Advanced Placement Literature Tour, A Picture's Worth 1,000 Words, on Tuesday, April 4th. Students spent the day at the museum immersed in, looking at, talking about, writing about, and making art. It's such a special day for everyone, from the students to teachers, docents to education staff. We all look forward to this visit every year. Amy McElroy, who is the AP teacher at Huntington High, wrote us a little note and said, "I cannot tell you what a wonderful time we had on Tuesday, the whole day. Everyone was so kind, helpful, and informative. It was exactly what we all needed, a time of breathing, creativity, and joy." And so we are so thankful to Amy for bringing her students every year to the museum. This is probably the 15th year that we've partnered with the AP Literature class, and it's always a wonderful day at the museum. We just really love it. Art teacher Susan McKinley brought her 5th grade students from Height Saunders Elementary to spend the day at the museum. Students were treated to a tour of the museum and a hands-on clay making experience with our artist in residence, Kathleen Neefsey. Here you can see some photos of the kids after they got their bowls back from being fired in the kiln, and they are just happy as could be. This year, we met with all grades of TAG students. Every grade spent time with our conservatory director, Josh Hamrick, making biobottle ecosystems to learn about habitats. Grades 1 through 2 also hiked the nature trails and made animal habitats using torn paper. Third graders learned how to make pinch pots using only their hands to create a ceramic bowl. And fourth and fifth grade students learned how to throw pottery using a potter's wheel. Explorer Academy students visited the museum as part of their expedition learning projects. The fourth graders were tasked with drawing different animals, including the monarch butterfly, the gazelle, the ostrich, and the armadillo. George led the students through a series of guided drawings to help them create their final drawing for the project. Fifth grade students read several books, including The Kapuk Tree, and were asked to create illustrations for the books. For inspiration, George led them on a guided tour of the conservatory where several of the plants found in the book live. We also worked with third grade students for the frog expedition and kindergartners for their tree project. Portfolio is our exhibition of middle and high school artwork. 120 pieces of art from 7 high schools and 2 middle schools were displayed at the museum during April and May. 79 pieces of artwork came from Cabell Midland High School, Huntington High School, and Barbersville Middle School. Awards were given to students for excellence and recognition, and 8 of Cabell County students were chosen for awards. And I want to share their work with you because it's just really wonderful. For excellence in high school, we have Isaiah Powell, whose photograph, blue portrait. His teacher was Jared Holly at Cabell Midland. Jackson Moses, his piece, A Well-Worn Life, that is a ceramic leather-looking bag. It's actually made out of clay. From Jennifer Wiley, also at Cabell Midland. Recognition awards for high school students. We have Caitlin Combs, The Sunflower Skies in the Kingdom of Lavender Roses. Jennifer Stevens at Cabell Midland High School. Mason Allen, Eyes See You, Diana Frazier, Huntington High School. And Montanesia Haywood, Tufted Titmouse, also Diana Frazier from Huntington High School. Every year, our docents sponsor an award for middle school students, so this is the Excellence Award. And Avery Morris for Temptation is from Jessica Minix's class at Barbersville Middle School. And recognition for middle school students is CJ Adams, The 6 Wonders of Basketball, Alex Puckett from Barbersville Middle School, and Shelby Korn, from Jessica Minix's class in Barbersville Middle School. So you can see their work is just really phenomenal, and they definitely deserve their recognition and excellence awards. And we are so thrilled to be able to do this exhibit again. Since the pandemic, we've just been doing it as high school seniors only, and so this was the first year. We're kind of coming back into our own this year by doing lots of things that we used to do. So this was the first year where we were able to bring back middle school and high school students to have this exhibit at the museum. Yeah. For more than 25 years, the Cabell County Reading Council has sponsored the Young Illustrators Contest. All students in Cabell County from kindergarten through 12th grade are eligible to enter the contest. The theme of the contest was for students to illustrate their favorite book, with the goal to choose a winner from each grade. Contest judges included community artists, Marshall University art students, and the winning entries were displayed at the museum in our education gallery for just over a month. I believe you guys also displayed them here at the board office as well, but we were thrilled to be able to have them on display at the museum also. This year, we brought back some after-school programs and went to Culloden Elementary. We provide art-making experiences to students in kindergarten through 5th grade, and I just have to say, this was so much fun because I actually got to teach this class this year, and it was just a joy to be able to be out with the students and making artwork with them, and they had a blast this time around. We just made messes and had a great time creating art. And I also wanted to share our Saturday Kids Art program with you. Saturday Kids Art is sponsored by the Hoops Family Children's Hospital. It's a 2-hour art making program. It's free and takes place every Saturday in our studios from 1 to 3. There's no registration required. You just need to show up and make art. The program is taught by art teachers Charity Baker, who teaches at Meadows Elementary, and Caitlin Donnelly. Students from kindergarten through 5th grade and their parent or caregiver are welcome to join in the fun. And I will say most of the students that participate in our Saturday Kids Art program are from our Cabell County students. They come out of the community and into our studio to make art even on the weekends.
Is that, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
do you know if that, Ms. Watts, if that is in our summer handbook? Do we,
I
did we
think
get
it
that in
is.
there? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to say, because we would love to be able to continue to publicize that on our
Definitely.
social media to make parents and families aware.
Yep.
So,
I believe I gave
Dr.
Stevens, yes,
Excellent.
thank you,
I'm
a
glad to hear that.
flyer for that so that you guys could help promote it for us. So we really appreciate that. And just one more. So far this year, we've served 13,217 people through all of our education initiatives. This includes our camps, our after-school programs, our classes, and more than half of that number comes from Cabell County. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to Cabell County Schools and the Board of Education for your continued support and partnership throughout the year. Thank you so much. Does any more questions?
Cindy, I just want to extend a real sincere thank you to the Huntington Museum of Art for continuing to be such a wonderful partner with our school system. And I know that you partner with other school systems across the region, but we are really, really blessed to be able to have the Huntington Museum of Art here in our community as a resource, not just for our students, but the professional development that you all also are able to provide for our art teachers. I know firsthand from talking with them how much they look forward to those sessions that you all offer, and working hand in hand with us for our professional development days to be able to go there and receive those really soul-sharpening professional development activities is just wonderful. You know, I think of all of the resources that we have and that partner with our school system, and I think that the Huntington Museum of Art is really an exemplar in being able to provide those resources for all of our elementary students and even middle school students that are able to take part. And then, of course, you know, even the high school AP students. So what a wonderful resource, and thank you for doing what you do to provide for our students.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's wonderful to hear, and we just love having the students come out to the museum and being able to go into the community and interact with the students as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cindy, I just wanted to tell you, that was a beautiful presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was a beautiful presentation, and I echo what Dr. Sachs said. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're ready for update in instruction and leadership services. Ms. Kelly Watts.
Good evening, President Smalley, Superintendent Sachs, board members, Ms. Myers. I have two presentations, just one very briefly. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is our second annual Educational Excellence Summit that will kick off at 8 a.m. at the Mountain Health Arena. So we're looking forward to having over 600 of our professional staff. I know, yeah, we're kind of sold out. So I know, it's going to be a very exciting day. And I think Gina left. Yeah, she just left. I was like, don't leave yet, but she knows. I just really want to commend her for staying true to the course of making sure that we have all of our presenters and all the wonderful door prizes that we have for our teachers and all the recognition, and Dr. Stevens for going out and getting business partners to, sponsor these door prizes as well as our shirts. They're really nice shirts. They're nice and soft. So we can really just honor our profession tomorrow. That's what the next 2 days is really about, to where we can give them the type of staff development that is motivating but also encouraging for the next school year. So we're very excited, very nervous. None of us will sleep tonight, but I really wanted to commend Gina while she was here because she's worked diligently, and she'll be there at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Ms. Watts, I also want to echo the sentiment of how hard you and your team have worked on the second annual Educational Excellence Summit. I really do believe that when you think about what it is that you and your team have been able to accomplish for the second year, it's something that no other school district in the state of West Virginia have been able to offer for their employees. Bringing world-class international speakers that really are only available when you go to national conferences right here to Huntington, so that our folks can see them, and they're getting paid to go.
Yes.
You know, we're paying them for their time to be able to go with these experiences, because it's valuable. We want to prioritize it, and we want to be able to compensate our staff for giving of their time to participate as well. So I am so appreciative of what you and your team have been able to do, because again, I think it sets Cabell County apart from all of the other school districts as well.
Well, and thank you, Dr. Sachs, as well as the board members, for honoring the daily rate stipend. I think that helps, but also giving us the support that we can put such an event on. It does take a team effort, and as I always tell Mr. Hardesty, that I do have the best team. But nevertheless, we share great with each other, that we truly are very blessed to have the team that we do have here in Cabell County. But not only my executive directors, we start in the fall looking at our speakers for the following year, because if you don't book them early, you don't get them. And then you have to, getting all the paperwork in. As Drew knows, we work very diligently trying to adhere to Drew's rules, is what we call it. Making sure all of our paperwork,
Poor
and then
Drew.
Dr. Meyer, or then Ms. Myers, making sure all of our contracts are legit. So it is a team effort for the whole board. But I have to commend you all for allowing us to put on such an event and to support us the way that you do. So with that, the second thing I wanted to do is update you on our paper tutoring. So you have a handout. Paper tutoring, as you know, we implemented for middle school and 9th grade at the beginning of the school year, and then we added 5th grade and 10th and 11th. So this first page, you'll kind of see the usage with the total usage over time. You will notice in December, January, the spikes, and then again in February. And then it just gives you from grade levels some of the average usage by day and by the hour. So we can actually see that some of this is actually happening during the school day, which is the intent. The intent was we wanted to have an extra hand for the classroom teacher when needed, especially when they were possibly in their WVMTSS time or intervention time, to where they could get some help. In the writing, actually, to where teachers can use that to get feedback on their drafts. The second page gives you a much more better view of exactly the monthly usage that was happening. We have the usage at all of our schools. We have returning students. So you can see basically we have close to 4,000 total tutoring sessions that's happened this school year. We've had 1,800 writing reviews. And the writing, essays, creative writing, if you'll see, other writing projects, all this data is kind of broken down to also into live sessions and writing review submissions by grade. We do have several of our secondary ELA teachers using this in their day-to-day classrooms, because the students can submit a draft of their writing and get feedback. And we've had several teachers that have really started using this, because the kids get feedback, they double check, and it's giving the kids more opportunity to perfect their writing with the teacher, with just the classroom teacher guidelines. So we're excited because we have sessions during our summit as well as at the beginning of the school year that these teachers will be sharing their success with other teachers.
One of the things I think is important to note, especially if you look at the second page, is if you look at the monthly usage, this is the first year that we were implementing paper, and it was sort of piloted in some areas in the first semester. And you'll notice that after January, the usage went way, way up.
We added
And
the
that
gra-
was also, I think, a direct correlation to the professional development that was received when
In
we came back
January.
in January. So I am very pleased to see the usage data here. And the feedback that I've been able to receive from teachers has been overwhelmingly supportive, especially for the teachers that have really embraced it and have used it as a resource within the classroom. And I think that the power of it, as Ms. Watts was saying, is using it as a tool in the classroom allows the students the understanding so that when they're at home and they're struggling, they have that automatic understanding of the resource that they have available to them. And so I'd also like to share that with my student advisory committee that I meet with regularly, I've asked them about, have you used paper? And it's been resounding how many students have been using it and how much they like to use it for their writing feedback. But there are students that are using it for foreign language tutoring for when they're at home and they're having to do assignments. So the depth of what the tutoring is able to offer has been pretty phenomenal as well. So I've been very pleased with the year in using paper, and look forward to seeing how the usage changes and evolves over the next school year as well.
And one of our goals for next year is just to understand, because if you're in that classroom environment and the teacher has gone over the lesson, you've done the lesson, and you're actually doing work, they can pull up paper and chat with a tutor to give that teacher an extra set of hands, so to speak. So especially when you're doing new skills, I think about a math classroom. So, when you're teaching a new skill and you're working on your problems, because we can actually see the actual chat, the teacher can actually see the actual chat that goes on with the tutor to make sure that they are reinforcing the same skills that the teacher had just reinforced. So say the teacher's over here working with a group and I'm over here struggling, I don't have to wait for the teacher. I can actually open up paper. And so we're wanting to get a little better usage out of that use, because it really is like giving the teacher another set of hands, another teacher in the classroom. And that's their whole platform. So we're very excited. They've been a great partner to provide the PD to our teachers, primarily virtually, and they're going to work with us next year so we can offer incentives for the students and as far as what they're utilizing it for. So, questions?
I think it's a great tool, especially the writing piece. Teaching writing was not my strong suit. It's tough.
Yes.
And to have them be able to submit writings and get that feedback is really, I can see that being a big help for our teachers.
We actually, Ms. Garberry and I have visited one of the ELA classrooms at Cabell Midland of the teacher that's really implementing it and has found that niche on how to use it. And so we watch the kids, how they interact and how she can interact and what she's seeing on her computer screen as she can moderate it. And we even asked, well, what about like Chat GPT? How can you, is it connecting that? And that's not its focus with that, but the teacher knows the student writing, and they can see if that trend changes due to the feedback from paper, or did they go out and do, a virtual bot to provide the feedback. So those are issues that we're all dealing with, but paper's been great, and the teachers have really embraced this to really put it to use at its fullest extent. So we're excited to see what happens next year. And like if you'll notice, science and social studies, if you look at the data, there's not as much data, so we want to make sure that we have the proper PD for the science and social studies teachers to be able to implement this as well.
Well, thank you so much, Ms.
That concludes my
Appreciate it.
presentation, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
Yes, thank you very much. And next we have Mr. Tim Hardesty, an update operations and support.
Madam President, board members, Ms. Hornbuckle-Myers. I've got quite a few things that I need to share with the board this evening, but I'd like to begin with an overview of the summer food service program. And I'm going to invite Mr. Kim Cooper come down and share that with you. Mr. Cooper?
Good evening, everyone.
Hi there.
Our food service has really picked up and kicked in for the summer. If you'll think back for the last 4 years. We've had, there were strikes that we had to work through. There were, and then COVID that we had to adjust the way that we did things. And so now the USDA, or the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has issued some policies that we need to follow. I think in your notebook there should be a couple of pages, maybe a front and back, of where the feeding stations will be. The county schools are considered non-congregate schools, meaning that these areas are provided with a 5-day meal box. All those are prepared at Cabell Midland High School by 4 cooks. Presently, we have about 400 that are being produced, with more that are being added daily. Parents must sign up for this and then meet the trucks at their prescribed times. Our first county meal box will be going out this Thursday. Last week, though, we did partner up with Facing Hunger Food Bank, and they prepared boxes that were sent out. Now, the city of Huntington does not fall into the same group as what the county schools do. They have to partake of their meals on site. They're delivered daily by 2 drivers, and right now we have approximately 560 that are prepared per day. The prep sites are at Huntington High School with 4 cooks, Spring Hill with 2, and then we'll be adding 2 more additional cooks at Martha whenever our extended school year program begins. I want to say within the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be adding, if we get a large amount of students that want to participate with this, and we'll add more cooks if necessary. Those boxes that go out into the county, they have 5 main entrees. They could be a small pizza, they could be pepperoni rolls, something that can be heated up, warmed up. 5 vegetables, 5 fruit, milk, juice, and then they also have breakfast bars, cereal, and muffins that go with that. And like I said, it's for a 5-day period. The on-site is pretty close to what we have through the daily regular year feeding program, except it's not something that is hot. They'll fix sandwiches, fruit, vegetables, and milk. Now, we did get something called a Local Food for Schools grant, and what that consists of is we're having produce that's considered local. It's within 400 miles of Cabell County, that is freshly grown and harvested, such as, and these are some of the components. Now, all of these won't be in every day's meal, but they'll space them out. They'll have blueberries, cantaloupe, yellow squash, cucumbers, yellow and red peppers, cherry tomatoes, apple slices, and peaches. So we've got a really good meal planned out for those that want to participate. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but you're making me hungry. Yeah.
I haven't eaten either, Mary. So. All righty. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
I do have a few other things I want to bring to the board's attention. One of the items that is on the agenda this evening is 4.02 on uniform purchases. And those are the ones that were adopted by the county as a policy last year. And we went through to do a consolidated uniform purchase to try to get the best price for all of the uniforms, and that's for bus operators, custodians, and cooks. And so included in your packet is the actual bid advertisement, the bid specifications, and then the bid that we received from actually the only bidder, which was the Working Man's Store. You'll notice in the item on the agenda, yes.
Can you also provide some overview of how we solicited those bids to make sure that people knew that it was out there?
Yes, what we did, when we went through the whole process for obtaining the uniforms and figuring out exactly what we needed, Mr. Tackett worked with our different classifications of employees and a group of representatives across those. And so what they did is they looked at all the different uniforms, they tried different samples. He reached out to multiple vendors to get samples of their product so they could try those and see what they liked. In addition to that, he worked with that same cohort from each classification to determine what the uniforms would look like. And so that's what was actually placed out for bid. And when it went out for bid, he also reached out to all of those different companies that had sent us samples that he had talked with, and there were multiple companies that we reached out to. But for different reasons, because of the different companies, the way they operate, we really need someone to try them on. That was something in the bid specs. We need someone to come, like, for example, the bus drivers, the operators, they need someone to actually take their measurements, try things on, and order them before they leave for the summer, so they're ready for them in the fall. And not everyone could do that. At the end of the day, we only had the one bid that came in. However, multiple companies I think there were 6 or 7 that actually requested the bid specs for the purchase.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Additionally, there are a couple other updates I just want to provide. And I know once a month I try to do a really in-depth update with a lot of pictures for our bond construction projects. And not just bond, but overall. But just to give you an idea of the things that are going on this week, there's a lot taking place right now. To give you an example, the chiller's in place at Heights Saunders. It's being connected maybe not as we speak, but during this week. At Nichols, the stonework, and if you remember, we did do a change order there to get rid of the yellow brick. The yellow brick is now gone. Stonework is going up. It is it will take 20 years at least off of that building. It's going to look fantastic. There's major work also going on inside the school. At Cabell Middle and High School yesterday, they started moving back into the main office. They were doing that yesterday and today. Huntington High School, they started demo work on the second entrance there. The footer at Davis Creek has been going in, and I know you've seen a couple of those, but the work there is just it's a really flurry of activity there, and we've had some great weather the last 2 weeks to get some of this done. The grading work at Milton, the site looks nothing like it used to, but we did run into a small problem. There is a perennial stream that's coming out that we're going to have to address with a small change order in a pipe to divert that water. Because even as dry as it's been, it's still running constantly right now. But with that, we also found another area where we could save some money that will hopefully not only address that, but give us even more savings. I anticipate being able to bring both of those to you all for consideration at the next meeting. Meadows is out for bid currently. The pre-bid meeting is planned for the 15th, I believe. I think I put that in the last update, and the bid opening is the 27th. ESG is making a lot of headway, not only the floors here, but the floors at Guy and Dot are nearly complete now. I think they got most of the classrooms completed there. Cox Landing, the bowlers there are now removed, so they're getting ready to make the next steps there. On a different note, the chiller that we ordered last June for Village of Barbersville was set in place today, finally. Yes, and so it takes a while to hook that up.
It only took a year.
It only took a year. It came in actually right before the end of school, but we couldn't shut the chiller off with school left. So Crane was there this morning in a flatbed to remove the rental and the old one, and the new one was set in place, and so it'll take a few days to get that connected and get that operational again. Moving forward with the greenhouse project at Barnesville Middle School, our guys poured 40-some yards of concrete today for the slab for that greenhouse. So there's a lot of stuff going on around the county. I know I probably didn't cover it all, but I also want to update you on the RIF and transfer issues that we had this year. We had quite a few of those that were employees that were impacted, and those are really being taken care of much quicker than they have in the past. In professional personnel, we only have 2 left on the reduction in force list. And we're anticipating by the next board meeting, because we've already got some jobs that are posted in service, we anticipate that by the time the next meeting comes, all of our aides will be off the RIF list. All of our ECATs, we will only have 2 cooks left and 18 custodians. So we're really trying to impact that in a quick manner, and appreciate all the work that our personnel departments are doing. Do we have any questions?
I mean, Mr. Harsett, Woody Williams, where are we standing on that as far as going out to bid?
We are expecting that to go to bid within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Mr. Ferguson is putting the final touches on that. He's supposed to be giving us a rendering to take a look at with the wording on the outside of the building.
Okay.
And I anticipate getting that this week. Dr. Sachs and I have a meeting with him this coming Friday. So if we don't get it before then, I'm sure that's something we'll be taking a look at this week. So we're very close to having that go out for bid as well. I would say sometime within the next 2 weeks that'll be out.
Thank you.
Madam President, I need to say on a personal note that
Oh, come on now.
I've got to. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what else to say, but
You can still change your mind.
We haven't voted
I-
yet.
They haven't voted yet, that's correct.
I understand that. I just want everyone to know that myself and my family have been blessed by Cabell County. I thank you.
We've been blessed to have you.
Here, here.
Thank you very much.
Next, communications from the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam
Dr.
President.
Sachs.
Thank you, Madam President, board members. As you can tell from both Ms. Watts and Mr. Hardesty, the school district has been a flurry of activity, both as we celebrated our commencements with the graduating classes of Cabell Midland and Huntington High School. What a wonderful, wonderful cap to the year. So proud of our graduates, and so proud of all of the educators and support staff that provided first-class educational opportunities for these students to become college, career, and enlistment ready. I can't say enough about the teamwork that continues to endure throughout our school district in providing all of our students the very, very best that they can. I'm going to steal one of the things that Mr. Hardesty has said several times to me, and that is that when you think about Cabell County Public Schools, it's the first best option that families have. And so I couldn't agree more. So we also wanted to celebrate our superintendent superheroes for the month of June, and that is plural. None other than Mr. Jeremy Baisden and Tammy Glover, who have worked just tirelessly throughout the entire year on the WEVIS 2.0 transition. As I had mentioned to the group of onlookers at the first service personnel leadership conference, when we presented the capes and for Mr. Baisden and Mrs. Glover, what people don't know is that these are individuals that are absolutely always behind the scenes, making sure that what goes on as it relates to the records and the information that's going out, whether it be for teachers with grade books or Schoology or master scheduling or report cards, goes as seamless as possible. And they were truly tasked, they weren't asked for their input on this. They were truly tasked with flying a plane while it was being built by some foreign country, I think. And I mean, that's probably the best way that you could describe it, because the communication that the Department of Education depended upon was so heavily on what Jeremy and Tammy were doing. They were looking at our school district to say how how to do this project. And so I couldn't be more proud of the work that these two individuals put forward. The Educational Excellence Summit, again, Ms. Watts was talking about how that is kicking off tomorrow morning, but it actually kicked off on Monday with the viewing of Freedom Riders. And so we had quite a few educational professionals that were able to go to the Pullman Theater and be able to see that as part of the experience for our conference. We're really, really excited about our keynote speakers, and I look forward to any of you all board members that are going to be there tomorrow to be able to kick this off. I think that we're going to really have some entertainment with Mr. Jerry Brooks, and then of course the opportunity to have Homer Hickam being able to speak to some of our schools, and Aaron Gruwell as well as Weston are going to be some phenomenal speakers. And I'm so proud of the fact that we can offer this for our staff and our employees here in Cabell County. Our first ever Service Personnel Leadership Conference was also yesterday, and I want to thank the Service Personnel Staff Development Council for their vision in making this happen, which is also Mrs. Glover again, has done such a wonderful job, and it was a wonderful experience for our service personnel. And speaking with them, they were all so appreciative of the opportunity that they had to be able to have this opportunity. So I think it's something that we're looking forward to for years to come. On two pieces of personal on a personal note, I want to thank Ms. Watts, Mr. Hardesty, our district level team here, for while I was out of commission over the last 2.5 weeks, which was obviously a big surprise to me. No one ever expects a health emergency, and they have been just such a blessing for me and my family, as I was laid up in the hospital for close to 8 days, and I didn't have to worry about a thing. They really stepped up to the plate, and I want to thank the board for your support and your thoughts and prayers throughout that time. It meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to Aaron and to our boys. So thank you so much. I truly believe that it's a spirit of family and cooperation, and I would not have been able to have recovered as quickly if it hadn't been for the support mechanisms that we have in place here. So thank you so much. And then I also want to thank a gentleman in the back of the room, Mr. Frank Barnett, who is on the agenda this evening. He, as many of you all know, will be leaving us to provide leadership as a superintendent in Lincoln County. And then, of course, Mr. Hardesty, who will be leaving us to be the superintendent in Mason County. I said we're going to have to watch what we're doing, because everybody's stealing all of our good people. But I wish them both so much promise and wellness in their new positions. I think that those two counties are so privileged to be able to have these two leaders taking over the reins to provide leadership in their counties. And I look forward to working with both of these gentlemen in a different capacity, but as colleagues and as fellow superintendents in the state. So congratulations, gentlemen. Very proud of your accomplishments and proud of your leadership that you've provided here in Cabell County. So thank you.
Still sad. Next, we have delegations to be heard.
Yes, ma'am. We have several.
right.
Do you want to say anything before we get started, or?
I'll just get to the bottom here. When you're called to come forward, please state your name, address, and group affiliation, if and when appropriate, for the record. Also, I'll remind you that there will be a 3-minute time limit for all speakers.
Okay. All right. First, we have Amy Neal.
Good evening. I've been asked by several of my union members to come and speak on their behalf concerning the athletic director position at Cabell Midland. In the years past, our AD never had to hold an administration certification, and now only Cabell Midland's new AD has to do this. There were 2 people who are currently employed at Cabell Midland, wanted to bid, but were not able because of the administration certification being added. Between those 2 candidates combined, there is over 68 years of teaching, 2 master's degrees, plus several additional graduate hours. Also, one has the administration degree and is awaiting to take the test for the full certification. Also, there are 65 years of coaching, 15 championship titles, hundreds and hundreds of hosting multifaceted events. I'm hoping the administration wasn't added to this job description in order to eliminate candidates based on age, gender, and/or sexual orientation, which leads me to the second part of this. Cabell Midland, we have someone who interviewed at Cabell Midland, who is currently employed at Cabell Midland, who has their total administration certification, years of coaching experience with state championship titles to their credit. Also, one of the candidates had previous experience as an athletic director. Not only at Cabell Midland, but across the county, many people have contacted me, asking me why Cabell Midland and Huntington High athletic departments have different requirements. I think what is best at this point is for both high schools to continue to mirror one another and be consistent. If next year you feel that an admin certification is necessary, then post both positions accordingly. However, AFT Cabell does have an issue with 7 administrators at each school. That is very admin top heavy. While we continue to cut classroom positions in both service and personnel, we continue to add administration positions in this county. Nothing against the person that has been recommended by this board, but why in the world would someone who absolutely has no affiliation to Midland and is currently coaching at Huntington High School get preference? According to the last seniority list dated August the 4th, he only has a provisional administration certification, yet he's been given the job. Once again, only provisional. Especially since I am aware that we have 2 candidates with the professional administrative certificate. In West Virginia Code 18-2-9, duties and responsibilities of school principals, assistant principals, prior, keyword in this sentence, prior to employment as a principal or assistant principal or another administrative position, the duties of which require conducting personnel performance evaluations, the principal, assistant, or administrator shall successfully complete education and training in evaluation skills approved by the state board. Since Bruce Sr. only has his Bachelor of Arts degree, why can't that...
Madam President, she's not to mention individual people's names. You can just state admit.
Okay, since the athletic director currently at Huntington High School only has a Bachelor of Arts degree, why can't that job of the AD be posted with administration certification? If Midland's AD must have an administration certification, so be it. But don't let the current AD at the other school doesn't even have a master's degree, and Midland have to have an AD with administration certification. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Neal.
Thank you.
Shannon Murray.
Hello, Shannon Murray, currently a science teacher at Huntington East Middle School. President, members of the board, Superintendent Sachs, Deputy Superintendent Watts, and audience. My name's Shannon Murray. Once again, almost nearly a year to the day, I come to you as a parent, a student and staff advocate, and a 30-year teacher. I've worked in this county since 2004. In that time, I've worked with and for several of you on the board. And for the last 5 years, I've been a grade 7 science teacher at Huntington East. I've also been the Faculty Senate hiring chair in that building for the last 3 years. It's no secret that our school is troubled. We're still troubled. We've had 7 admin changes in the last 3 years, 4 counselors in 4 years, and over 40 new staff in 3 years. I myself have held hiring committees for an average of 15 positions a year since I became the hiring committee chair. And the year I was transferred into the school was a year we had 25 new staff members. We aren't just troubled, we are majorly traumatized. This time last year, I came to ask that board that they not make an immediate decision to hire someone for our top position without taking into consideration our student and staff concerns. Today, I'm not here to ask, I'm here to beg you that when it comes time for you to fill our new top position again this year, when that bid goes down on the 8th, please choose our next leader with an eye not for degrees, not for words on a page. Look for consistency that our children so desperately need. These students have not only had all the massive changes I just mentioned, but in the last 3 years, they've endured the deaths of several teachers, one student peer, and the loss of trusted and respected teachers and staff. How do we get this desperately needed consistency? Please look to hire from within the county with people who have lived our lives, worked in our school, and knows our students. I have no doubt you will have many applicants. Please remember this. The last person you hired for our top position without taking staff and student concerns into consideration, I feel personally this building as a whole failed. That board who hired him set him up for failure and then let him hang. Please listen to the students and parents and staff who are here today to beg you to choose wisely and to choose a person that our building who has our trust, our respect, the knowledge and the stamina to be our leader. And whoever you hire, give that person the means to do what needs to be done to revive our traumatized building. Please don't hire and run. Check in with whoever you hire weekly. Double check your deputies, double check your directors, double check the board staff, and check for reports for accuracy. I feel I failed my students and my staff by not coming to these meetings on a regular basis to question things that I saw happening this year, not just to our students, not just to our staff,
We'll need to wrap it up.
but to the leader you hired last year. We beg you, please hire someone who has worked, lived, loved our building, loved our staff, but most importantly, loves our students. This time, the whole county's eye is on this board, and this is a major decision. And we're watching for an outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
John Lynch.
Hello, my name is John Lynch, and I am a STEM teacher at Huntington East Middle School. Today I'm talking to you representing the related arts team that we have at the Huntington East Middle School, which includes art, music, physical education, Spanish, health, computers, and STEM. Our main concern is the needs of our students, as I'm sure the main concern for you is as well. Our student population has had many challenges to overcome. They have lost beloved teachers and much loved classmates, not to mention the turmoil of coming to age during a pandemic. The least that we can do is provide a little bit of stability at our school. Our raising 8th grade students will have had 7 different administrators, but through all these changes, every student has come to love and respect one principle that has stayed consistent. It is not only important to the students, but also the staff. I know I have built a relationship with the one administrator that has stayed there throughout the 4 years that I have worked there. I've gone to him many times with concerns and interactions with other students, as well as, at least on one occasion I can think of, him talking me out of resigning in the middle of a day that was particularly difficult. And he has done so in a way that made me feel valued and a member of the Bears family. And that's where his real leadership comes in. He has not only provided a person to go to and speak with and a great source of information, but he has also made us feel at home and welcome there. And some of these students do not have that consistency at home. And I know I want that for my students, to be able to come to school knowing what to expect. I know that I have turned to him anytime I have difficulty in my classroom. I also turn to him anytime I'm doing something interesting in the classroom as well. Not only has he been there to support me in difficult times, but also to celebrate the good times as well. And I hope that in the future, he can continue to do that. I know our students turn to them as well in times of crisis and in times of need, and I hope that this board will turn to him as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miranda Martin.
President, board members, Dr. Sachs, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be here and speak to you this evening. According to tonight's board agenda, it is known that Huntington East Middle School is in need of a new head administrator. As the powers that be are in search of who this new head administrator will be, I ask and plead on behalf of the representing staff of Huntington East Middle School and some whom could not attend that the board consider the desperate needs of HEMS when choosing the individual for this position. We need someone who exhibits integrity and pride for our Baird Inn. We need someone who is willing to serve students in a capacity that is unique to their academic, social, and emotional needs. We need someone who respects and is compassionate to staff needs and initiatives and is willing to combat the school culture that has created a dangerous rate of staff turnover and create a space where students and staff can thrive alike. We desperately need, consistency, especially my students. Our students and our staff need someone who is willing to stick with us through the changes that need to take place to create a school culture that promotes a positive and encouraging learning experience for our students and a positive, encouraging workplace for our staff. Our students need someone who has remained consistent throughout their middle school careers. Our school needs someone who is familiar with and willing to implement our PBIS framework to decrease student behaviors and increase student engagement. We need someone who already exhibits known loyalty to Huntington East Middle School in ways that I, as well as the representing staff, find remarkable and admirable. In turn, has gained our trust and respect. I have witnessed firsthand interactions that those familiar with our students have had with even the most difficult of students and watched them with seemingly crisis situations and diffuse them with students and staff alike. Those familiar with our students in school are the only consistency we have seen for many years. We need someone who has been a role model for our students in ways that exceeds their duties, but never complains. We need someone with leadership skills and ability to already adapt to the flexible situations that we have and held our staff together in times of need. We need someone we know and trust for successfully leading our school in academics and operations, and knows how to utilize their staff and enable and encourage us to use our strengths to the best needs of our meet the needs of our students. I ask, on behalf of us at Huntington East Middle School, that you seriously consider the right, loyal person for the position of the head administrator at Huntington East Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew Bryant.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. My name is Matthew Bryant. I am a social studies teacher at Huntington East Middle School, and I've been there for 2 years now. Thank you for providing this opportunity. I'm here today to advocate for a specific individual for the position of head principal at Huntington East Middle School. In the last 2 years that I've been there, HIMSS has experienced the loss of 2 head principals and 2 vice principals. The middle school is brief when compared to the students' tenure in elementary and high school. Middle schoolers probably need the most consistency and stability. Throughout the various changes in administration, one candidate for head principal has proven himself as a wellspring of consistency and stability. This candidate compassionately understands the students' demographics. At Huntington East Middle School, he works tirelessly to build a good rapport with students and strives to meet their needs. Likewise, this candidate works to also meet the needs of professional and service personnel and will always make time for us. Additionally, he will always offer thoughtful, kind, and genuine advice when needed. As an educator, I never want to leave my classroom, nor can I fathom taking on a role such as a head principal. However, there is a certain individual that will meet the complexities, various components, and needs of Huntington East Middle School with kindness, empathy, understanding, and fairness. He is the right candidate for Huntington East Middle School, and we implore you to take that into consideration. Our school is a tough school, but we love our school, and that's why we are here. We love our students, we love our staff, and we need a certain individual to lead us because he's kind, compassionate, stoic, and there. And that consistency and stability matters to our students, most importantly. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Caroline Grimes.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Grimes. My address is 52 Kingland Drive, Huntington, West Virginia. I attended Huntington East Middle School from 2022 to 2023 and just finished my 8th grade year. From a student's perspective, I would like you to consider one of the existing principals for head principal at Huntington East Middle School. He's respected by both students and staff, and he's a very easy person to talk to if there's a problem. He deals with it appropriately and in a timely manner. He also asks suggestions from the students and tries his best to accommodate those recommendations for both students and staff. I cannot express through words alone how much he makes every single one of his students feel safe and respected when they turn to him for advice, comfort, or a difficult situation they are in. For these reasons, I hope you will consider him for the position. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Claire Salisbury.
Hi, I'm Claire Salisbury, and I used to be a student at Huntington East Middle School. I'm here to support my former principal. He has always been super kind and supportive to all of his students. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather James. Heather James.
Hello, my name is Heather James. I'm the parent partner at Huntington East Middle School and also the parent of an upcoming 7th grader somehow. It was a miracle. The reason that I'm here is I'm going to beg you to trust us. These people behind me, there is nobody in the county who loves those kids more than those people behind me. They know what they're talking about. They have experienced with these kids the turmoil, and the last few years it's just been a lot, okay? And they are coming to you, and I couldn't say anything better than what these people are saying. And they're giving you all the information you could possibly need to make this decision. I don't feel like I need to, add a whole lot more other than to say, when the time comes, empty your brains of all the buzzwords and all the things that we have to talk about in education, and think with your heart, be empathetic about what these kids are going through and what they need. What they need is consistency. It's one thing we have never been able to provide them, despite our very best efforts. They need consistency. There is someone already in the school who is more than qualified to be the principal, who has already built relationships with everyone in the school. We're talking parents, staff, teachers, students. All the groundwork is laid, okay? We finally have a solid foundation on which to build school. I haven't given up on Huntington East yet. I know a lot of people think that there's just not a whole lot more we can do for that place, just keep putting Band-Aids on it. No, I haven't given up. These people have not given up on Huntington East Middle School. We have a solid foundation now on which we can build and make that school everything that it has the potential to be. And if you place someone else in that head administrator position, we're gonna have to start with the hole in the ground again. There's no foundation there. There's one person who is going to be the one who's the most qualified, the most respected, and the most trusted. You already know who it is, so when the time comes, think with that. Think with your heart. Don't get stuck on the, the semantics and, that kind of thing, because I know a lot of people are going to bid on the job, and a lot of them are going to look like they're just as qualified on paper, right? But when we talk about the personal experience and the relationships that are already there, there's really just one answer to this. And I'm looking forward to next year. I feel like next year is going to be an entirely different situation, an entirely different experience for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our delegations to be heard. All right, board members, we'll move over to section 3, board member comments. Do we have any at this time? Yes, Mrs. Bond.
President Smalley, I just want to thank everyone here at the board and all the staff. You would not believe the emails that I have received from teachers and students and administrative personnel here at the office on the death of my grandson. And I just want you to know how much my family and I appreciate that. And kind of regurgitating what you said, Dr. Sachs, the love and support that we have felt during this time. We are still in a season of grieving, but I'm really thankful to be here. I'm very blessed to have this seat, and I am thankful for all the people I get to work with. And I don't know if people are stealing our people. I think we just grow really good superintendents here.
I agree.
That's how I look at it. We grow really good people that love their kids, and I just want to keep doing that, and I'm glad that I get to be a part of it. And thank you all for your prayers and your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mrs. Bond. We're blessed to have you back with us.
Glad to be back.
All right, board members.
I actually have an item that I wanted to bring up. No, you're fine. I wanted to bring up with the board. In preparing, perhaps for the next board agenda, I wanted to get the board members' feedback on setting the meeting times and dates for next year. We need to be able to establish that before July 1. And so I'd like to be able to put that on the board agenda for the 22nd. Is it the board's desire to continue with the first and third Tuesdays of the month for regular board meetings, and the first and third Tuesdays of the month for the board meetings at 4:30, and our workshops would be the third Monday at 3:30? That's been what we've had this past year, and I just wanted to ask if that's what you all would like to continue with, or you'd like to make a modification, perhaps.
I'm okay with the way we've been doing.
Okay. So I'll prepare an agenda item in that regard, and nothing says that if you all have a change of heart between now and then, we can absolutely change it on the board agenda, and we can amend the agenda, but I'll craft something in that regard just to make sure it's,
It looks like we
it's
have a
there.
consensus.
Sure.
here, so
Okay.
Thank you
So
for
I
that.
will do that.
All right, yes, sir. All right, section 4. This is the consent agenda. Do you have any items that you would like to pull or discuss, or any comments you would like to make? All right. All right, hearing none. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the 4,000 series as is.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Pauly.
A second.
We have a second from Mrs. Bond. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. And passes. All right, move on to section 5.
We do not have any financial.
And we have nothing from Mr. Rockin tonight, right? Okay, thank you for that. All right, moving on to personnel.
Oh, my lands.
That's a lot.
This one's rough.
Yeah, this is.
I would like to,
Oh, yeah, I know.
Go
We do have, I know that there's several items on the professional personnel agenda and the service personnel agenda that are going to require a change. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Hardesty if he could come up first, and we
Okay.
could outline what those are.
Okay.
Because I think some people have pulled their bids.
Oh,
So.
all right.
Yeah, yes. On, the first one is not really a change. I just want to draw your attention to it. On page 7, On a resignation, Brianna Grant. If you received an early copy of the agenda Thursday, you'll see that it did not say Salt Rock in kindergarten. It was incorrect. And that was corrected in a timely manner last week. But if you had an early copy and you compare it to this one, it would be different. I just wanted to show you that. It was corrected in the appropriate time. It's just that sometimes you'll get an early copy, and I just wanted to make sure that you realize it was a change. On page 20, we did have 2 employees who pulled their bid. It's service personnel. The first one is on page 20, and it's job A23068, number 1 of 2. And that was Amy Chapman, and she has decided to stay where she's currently at Cabell Midland. She wants to stay there.
So we're gonna omit that one.
Omit it?
Yes, yes. The second is on page 25. And this is job number S23021. And that is Tonette Keyser, and she's staying in the grounds department. So she decided to stay where she's at.
So omit.
Omit. The only other thing I just draw your attention to in that section is the very end of professional personnel, the substitute list that a lot of people when they retire, they join our substitute list. And as you all know, we utilize our substitutes daily, and our retirees really help us through every year. But there is a lot of experience on that substitute list that we have on there today, and I just want to thank all of them for continuing to work with our students.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Madam President, board members, that there are those changes, but there are some other things. I don't know if y'all have a desire to go and if you need to talk about anything. So,
I think Mrs.
Okay,
Neely
I-
had something.
I want to go in executive session
okay.
on item 5212P, and the posting is P 3630, Cabell Midland Administrative Athletic Director.
Sure.
I would like to go in administrative session to discuss that.
Okay.
It's on page
Executive
10.
session.
It's on page 10.
Okay. Mrs. Neely has asked for an executive session.
I
Page
second.
10, P 3630.
Yeah. Second.
All right?
I second your motion. You were
All right,
making
that was a motion, correct?
Yes.
And we have a second from
Yes.
Mrs. Bond. All in favor of going into executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter, P 3630. All right, we're in executive session. can fill you in if you want. all
You
sort of
need to
details.
fill me in.
Do we need to wait on her?
All right, need a motion to. Sorry, need a motion to go back into
So moved.
open session. All right, we have a motion from Mrs. Neely,
Second.
a second from Mr. Pauly. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're back into open session. All right, where are we here?
I'm
We are
hot.
under, Madam
sir.
President, we are under the professional, I'm sorry, the
Section.
personnel section, and we do have
See, I'm cold.
several,
I'm sorry.
we have several revisions to the personnel section that I do need to make a recommendation on. However, if there is anything that the board would like to vote on separately, I would recommend we do that first.
Okay.
Well,
Board
you
members,
you know the one I want.
Okay, you want to go ahead and state that, Mrs. Neely?
I would like to pull that 5212 P 3630 to vote separate on the Cabell Midland High School Administrative Athletic Director.
Okay?
All right, anything else? If not, we can vote on the bulk of the section separately.
Okay, so you want to vote on the entire section first?
Yes.
Other than, and so we pulled that one.
The two we omitted.
So just to clarify, we're pulling P 3630 to vote on separately. I'm gonna go ahead and make a recommendation for approval of the entire personnel section with the modifications that Mr. Hardesty had mentioned, which can be found on page 20. That is pulling item A23068, Amy L. Chapman.
One of two.
And on page 25, item S23021, Tonette Keyser, pulling those two items. I recommend full approval.
All right, having heard the superintendent's recommendations, we have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's.
Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Pauly makes the motion.
Second.
And we have a second from Mr.
Recommendation.
Miller. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right?
We had 4 votes.
Okay.
Well, don't you want to
All right,
mention?
now
We're going to vote on that one next.
Okay.
Okay.
On the first, except for the exceptions, I'm okay on that.
Okay,
So
so
it's a
that's
yes vote.
5.
Okay.
That was a yes from Mrs. Neely.
That was a yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay.
Okay. Madam President and board members, regarding item 5212P, transfer of administrative personnel, professional personnel, item P3630, Mr. Jason Bankston, being transferred from Huntington Middle School Social Studies grades 6 through 8 to Cabell Midland High School as a high school administrative athletic director. I encourage approval.
All right, do we have a motion?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I move that we accept
all
the
right.
superintendent's recommendation.
Yes, sir. Mr. Miller makes the motion,
I'll second.
and Mr. Pauly seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right, vote is 4-1. Motion passes.
Madam President, I would like to recognize and congratulate several of our newest administrators. I want to congratulate Miss Melissa Ash as the new Cabell County Career Technology Center principal. Can you, Miss Ash, congratulations. Do you want to introduce anybody? We're looking forward to your leadership and I'm not going to say filling shoes. I'm going to say creating your own path with your own shoes. How's that? Congratulations. I also want to recognize Dr. Justina White as the new Huntington East Middle School Assistant Principal. Congratulations. And I would like to congratulate Mr. Jason Bankston as the new High School Administrative Athletic Director for Cabell Midland High School. Mr. Bankston, congratulations.
Congratulations to y'all. I'm happy
Yes,
for you.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to working with you.
I can't hear him from back there. He's gonna have to come up. Frank, you're gonna have to come up because I can't hear you from back there.
you're off.
There we go. How's that?
There you go.
All
Third
right.
time is a charm.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Mr. Hardesty said. Just appreciate all the support I've had through the years with the different boards and Dr. Sachs and his patience with me for, like I said, not just sometimes thinking outside the box, but setting the box on fire. So sometimes you got to be creative and do some things that on the surface make no sense to get the product that you need to have. And just appreciate all the support and just looking forward to the new chapter of my life. And I appreciate all of it,
Oh,
We wish you
we're
all
going to
the
miss
best,
you
Ray.
both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Mr.
you.
Burnett, we are truly, truly,
Oh, my goodness.
we were blessed to have you. We really were blessed to have you. And I know that you're going to do a fantastic job in your new position as superintendent.
Well, thank you very much. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
and congratulations.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hardesty, what could I say to you? I-
Please don't go.
I've known you since I came here 14 years ago, and you have never changed. You've always been the nicest person I've ever met, and you are going to be missed very, very much. And I want to wish you, and I don't have to, I want to congratulate you, but that county is really getting a good superintendent. Our loss is their gain. So good luck, and I love you.
Well said. All righty. Okay, to special board items, 7,000 series.
Yes, ma'am. Item 7.01, I was going to ask Mr. Hardesty to come up and just provide a preview of what this resolution is doing,
thank you.
so.
Hello again. This resolution is actually one that was passed at the legislative session, I believe on March the 11th, if you look at that Senate bill. And interestingly enough, the reason we need to do this is because that actually goes into effect 90 days after passage. We had 2 months that had 31 days, so that actually goes into effect on June the 9th. The differences in what that Senate bill says that we need to do going forward and what our policy says are at odds with each other. And what we're trying to figure out is exactly how we have to do the level 1 grievance hearing so we can actually make sure our policy's correct. So what you would see if you compare our current policy, which is we have one in professional and one in service for the grievance procedures, is the title or the definition of the chief administrative officer has changed somewhat. And the days for all of the things that transpire are changing as well. A grievance still has to be filed within 15 days of an occurrence to constitute such a grievance. From then on, the days change. And so currently, a conference has to be scheduled within 10 days, and a level 1 hearing would have to be within 15 days. All those change to 20 days. So you have 20 days to do that. Currently, at the end of a conference, the superintendent has 15 days to issue a clarifying statement or his decision. That goes to 20 days. Same thing on a hearing. The next change is if they don't like that option, or that outcome, they can file a level 2 grievance, and those days change as well. Those are really out of our hands at that point. They go through the grievance board, that process. But we need to make sure our policy is correct. And so what we would advocate for doing is adopting the Senate bill as it's written, knowing that if we have a grievance that would arise or come forward, we're gonna have to figure out exactly how to do that and who that chief administrative officer is going to be. Legal, I guess, references there some of us tell us that we need to have someone other than the superintendent hear those, someone that's completely impartial. And we've kicked around some ideas on how to do that. Some legal minds think that, maybe that's not necessary. And I believe they've asked the state superintendent to issue some clarification on what his expectation is. And we just want to make sure our policy is correct. But we can't follow our current policy because it's clearly out of date with the timelines. And we just want to make sure we adopt something till we get ours fixed.
Okay.
That's really what it is.
So I would ask that we just vote on these separately, if that's okay, or at least, well, I mean, I should say, Before I ask you to do it that way, if there are not any questions regarding the student expulsions, then I would ask for full approval of the special board items, section 7.
Okay, any questions, concerns about the student expulsion? Okay, we have none.
Then I would recommend full approval of special board items.
All right.
Yeah, you need a motion. I move that we, whatever the motion is, to approve the student expulsions.
A special board items.
Special,
The whole
yeah.
yeah.
The whole
Whole
set.
7,000 series.
Yes.
Mrs. Neely makes the recommendation, or my goodness.
The motion.
The motion.
The motion, the recommendation. The motion. Do we have a second from Mrs. Vaughn? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that was unanimous. All righty. And here we go. Update on current legal issues. Council, do we need to,
Yes, Madam President, we do.
executive session, right?
Yes,
again,
ma'am.
To discuss legal issues.
Yes, Madam
I
President.
make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss legal issues, legal updates.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Pauly made the motion.
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Neely, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Back into executive session.
question for you too. When we get through here, you're not excused yet. It's a city question.
Make a motion that we come out of executive session.
All right.
We have a motion, we have a second from Mrs. Neely. Motion was Mr. Pauley, second, Mrs. Neely. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we're back into open session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if we have no further comments or questions.
So moved.
All right. Mrs. Neely, all right, second from Mrs. Neely, Mrs. Bond. Okay? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you all very much.
Okay, we'll see you at the next one.
Probably see several of you tomorrow morning.
Do I owe you
What time
money?
are you getting there tomorrow?
Well,